Toastmasters and welcome guests. As we announced the magic money bag. Long, long ago, in what was now known as South Korea, we've seen it recently in the Olympics, up in the foothills of the mountains there. This is the setting. There was a young couple who lived in a thatch hut in a small village at the base of the mountain. They were so poor that every day they went up into the foothills and cut wood. And they cut 2 bundles each day. Very serious manual labor. They get up in there and chop, husband and wife, and they cut their wood. Then they prepare their bundles and they carry it down the hill into the market, the local market. And those are very big bundles and they're very heavy, a lot of work. What they did is, one day the young couple came back from the mountain carrying the firewood. They put the bundle in the courtyard, and they planned to sell it at the market the next day. 1 bundle for themselves, 1 bundle to put on the market so they can make some money to buy some rice. The bundle they kept for themselves, they would use it for cooking their food, heating their home, because in South Korea, as you saw in the Winter Olympics, extremely cold over there. Summertime, different story. After they dropped their bundle, the next day they woke up into the hills they went, started cutting their wood. They finished it, came back to the square, put 1 bundle in the market. The next day they came back, cut their wood, 2 bundles, just like always. But they noticed the next day, when they came in, they checked the market, the bundle of wood was missing. It just disappeared. So they had no choice but to take the bundle they would have used at home and replace it, because they gotta have food. With all that work, you gotta have food to eat. And again, they went off into the mountain, cut their wood, prepared their 2 bundles, dropped them at the market, and went home. The next day they came in, this would be the second time, they noticed the bundle was missing. But what's going on? So, no time to waste, they went up to the hills and cut another set of bundles. And that's a lot of work every time. That day, they returned to the market, dropped their bundle, and the 3rd day, they checked it, and it was missing, the one that they left in the market. So again, they had to take their personal stash, if you will, bundle, and put that on the market to sell it. On the 5th day, same thing, they went up into the mountain, cut their firewood stack, dropped them off, 1 for the market, 1 for home. The next day, they woke up, the one in the market was gone. And the guy by now was like totally baffled. He's like, where are these going? So what he did is he took the bundle of wood and made it in such a way that he could get inside this bundle of wood and hide. Because he wanted to know, where is my bundles going? All my wood. All that labor gone. So he wanted to get to the bottom of it. So there he was, sitting inside the bundle, waiting to see what's going on, to solve the mystery. Around midnight, lo and behold, a giant rope come out of the sky, big rope, and latched onto the bundle, tied to it, and slowly started raising this big bundle with the woodcutter inside of it, up into the sky, up into the heavens. Took a few minutes to get the bundle up into the heavens, but upon his arrival in heaven, he saw a kind-looking, white-haired man coming in his direction. The old man come over and untied the bundle, When he found the man inside, he asked,
People only cook one bundle a day. Why do you cook two?
the woodcutter made a bow and replied, "We are very poor. That's my wife. That's why my wife and I go out and we cut our two bundles each day. One we put on the market and sell it for our rice so we can make porridge. And the other is, as we mentioned earlier, so we can heat our home and stay warm." The old man chuckled and said to the woodcutter in a warm-hearted tone of voice,
I have known for a long time that you are a decent couple and lead a frugal and hard-working life. I shall give you a piece of treasure. Take it back with you and it will provide for you.
as soon as the old man had finished speaking, there came 7 fairies that came flying out of the sky and approached the young man and led him into a magnificent building. It was so beautiful, so bright, gold lace, trim. It was so shiny. He had to close his eyes. He was like, "It's so bright I can't see." So they entered this chamber, and once they were inside, they discovered many, many precious objects. There was gold items, there was many bags filled with items. So the woodcutter was beside himself. He said, "I'd like that money bag, the one full of precious things. Give me that round, bulgy one." And he took the biggest one he could find in the building and asked for that. Well, of course, bigger is better, typically speaking. Couldn't be a lot of goodies in there. Just at that moment, the white-haired old man came in with a stern expression on his face and said to the young man,
You cannot take that one. I will give you an empty one. Every day you can take 1 tael of silver out of it, and no more.
the woodcutter reluctantly agreed. He had his hopes up for this giant bag was going to make him insanely rich. He took the empty money bag, grabbed on the rope, clinging on tight, and it was slowly lowered to the ground. Once he got home, he gave the money bag to his wife and told her the whole story. She was most excited. In the daytime, when they got up, they went out as usual to cut firewood. From then on, when they returned from the mountain and dropped their bundles off, they'd go inside their thatch hut, close the door, and they'd take this bag and open it. And just as they promised, every time they opened it, the first day, a glittery chunk of big silver come out, fell on the ground right before their feet. Time went on slowly, and they kept doing this over several days. Come home, after a long day in the field, cutting wood, every day, opening the bag, and silver would fall out. One day the husband was itching to spend all that money. All that silver was a lot of money. He said to his wife, "Since we have so much money in hand, why don't we build a brick house?" The wife reluctantly went along with his wishes. The husband went out and bought bricks, tiles, timber, carpenters, bricklayers, and proceeded to build his new brick home. Then one day, the pile of silver they had was almost exhausted. So he had the idea, well, we're almost out of silver. I'll take the bag and I'll open it and get a chunk of silver. It's worked all the time before. And a chunk of silver rolled out of the bag. So then he had the idea, well, I really want to finish this house. I'll take a second try at this. He opened the bag, clunk, the silver rolled out. He had another chunk of silver. Third time, same results. The fourth time, nothing. Nothing came out of the money bag. not a scrap of silver at all. The woodcutter felt very sad. His wife came over and consoled him. We can't depend on the magic money bag from heaven. Let's go back to the mountain and cut firewood like we did before. From that day on, the young couple went up to the mountain and resumed their hard-working life. Also, the brick house disappeared that he labored for and was back to a thatched hut. Ladies and gentlemen, I chose this story because I think the story reminds me of the recent economic crisis we went through about 10 years ago. Most people want to make money fast and they want to move on. Do not get greedy. If the stock market is going crazy, it's time to sell your stocks. If they're not talking on the stock market, it's time to buy and build your little empire of stocks. Mr. Toastmaster.
Don't mistake me for that kindly old man up in the sky. That was twin. I know you suffered a lot over the choice of this because we talked about it in the dog park in passing. And I see why you were were troubled about it because it's one of the most beautiful stories that I've ever heard. And I hope that each of you get to live as long as I have, because that's about human life. When you go through all the work that you're doing and, the God steps in and does something really terrific from you and then he takes it away and you're on your own again, okay? I mean, that was a really beautiful story you picked. So the choice of what you decided to do was a fabulous choice. It also made me question some things because of your presentation. What's the difference between a summary of something, a speech, and a dramatic presentation? And I get hung up there too. I sympathize with what you did because I felt, being an unkind white-haired old man, that I only saw half of you. Quite literally, I only did see half of you. You really had done a fabulous job of memorizing the speech. I don't know why you looked at it a couple of times or several times, because it didn't seem like you needed to. Did you get lost at any time? You did. Okay, yeah, we need prompters. All of us need prompters. Your gestures were fundamental. They were rudimentary. Not quite enough. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, white-haired kind man. Not like that, but a little more than the white-haired kind man. Or they were working, they were going up the hill. It was just half of you. And it wasn't half-hearted because I knew that you were making a really great attempt at visualizing this as you were doing it. And that was one of the other successes of your speech. Dramatic presentation, summary, whatever it was that your pacing was perfect for me, and I think for most people here, to visualize the story. Okay. Now, specifically, and we can go over this at some other time, I felt that your gestures weren't always completed, okay? But that you really wanted to get your body into it more. Part of your speech had to deal with vocal variety, and it was kind of even tone. But it was all right, because I remember having stories told to me when I was going to sleep as a child, and they were told to me that way, probably to help me go to sleep quicker, and not to get me too excited. But you didn't succeed in that. We were all really attentive to the end, because there was actually a suspense that you were able to build up as you were summarizing the story. Okay. The only other thing I want to make you aware of, if you're going to do something like this again, get your face into the act too. Because when I would see the rudimentary gestures, I looked at your face, I didn't see the same gestures come from your face, whether it was a gesture of intensity or a surprise. And the ending, this is one of my favorite things, is to have a weak ending. And the ending wasn't as strong as it could have been. It was almost like the ideas that you had at the end You knew you needed to have your own little statement in there, and so you made a statement about the economy. But I bet if your mentor sat down with you and asked you a couple of questions about what you really thought it was about, you would have had something deeper, because you conveyed that story with a great deal of depth, that it was something more than just a summary of somebody's historical events, that it was something that is mythically for all of us. So thank you for putting me into so many questions, making me really take a look at what a good speech is, and for your effort, which I thought was great. Thank you.